the decimal trick. Tell me what I need to write down to practice the decimal trick. Go ahead.
The left and the right.
Yeah, we made a T-chart. So everyone make a T-chart.
Divide goes on the left and the
Multiply goes on the right. Okay. And then the arrows go the direction that they're on. So on the right side, the arrow goes to the right. On the left side, the arrow goes to the left. Make this large enough that you can see it. Okay, now we have some decisions to make because we have several tricks. First thing I want you to do is I want you to look at the operation signs. I notice I see multiply, divide, multiply, divide. Is it the same pattern over on the right? It is, okay? So that's the first thing you've got to get right because you might go the opposite direction and get your answer wrong, okay? So the next thing you have to figure out is which trick's the easiest one to use and when can I use them? So look at A. Raise your hand if you think we're going to use the decimal trick on A.
Yes.
You're right! None of you raised your hand. What trick are we going to use on A?
Add
Add a 0 to the end trick. Okay? We would choose that trick every time, wouldn't we? Okay, so if I have add a 0 to the end, I'm just going to rewrite 54,000 without the comma. So write 54,000. How many zeros am I adding, boys and girls? 1 0. Then 1, 2, 3, put your comma back in. How do you say that number, class? 540,000. Okay, let's go down to B. Which trick should I use, Kimberly? The 0 trick or the decimal trick? I agree. Why can I use the 0 trick when I'm dividing even? Sadie?
Because it doesn't have a decimal.
Okay, this is a whole number. 54,000 is a whole number. But when I divide, I have to have a 0 on both numbers, don't I? Or I can't use the 0 trick. How many zeros will I cross off on 54,000? 1. Because there's 1 0 and 10. So write 5400, then put your comma in. What's the answer to that problem?
5,400.
5,400. Now it's going to get a little more interesting. So I really need you to sit up and pay attention, okay? I told the students in block 1, we have to get 100% on our exit ticket or you're not ready to move on to lesson 3 and we have to do this again tomorrow. I don't want to do this again tomorrow, do you?
No.
So let's focus, okay? My strategy that I'm teaching you, and it works, is rewrite 8.7. I know I have to use a decimal trick because this is not a whole number. So rewrite 8.7, you can rewrite it out to the side, write it underneath, I don't care. Make sure it's not tiny. You're going to want to write it nice and big. Now let's just plug in our decimal trick. So multiply, I move my decimal to the right. How many spaces? 1. So I'm going to write 87 decimal. Do I need to write the decimal? No. If you write it, I'm probably just going to do this. Remember, you don't need the decimal, or you don't need the 0. Okay? All right. So the answer to C is what, boys and girls?
87.
87. Okay, let's take a look at D. Again, we're going to rewrite 8 7/10. Which way do I move the decimal this time, boys and girls?
Left.
Why is it left?
Because it's divided.
How many place values?
1.
1. So I'll write decimal 8 7. Am I finished?
No.
But I need a 0. Okay, boys and girls, tell me how to say this number. 87 hundredths. Very good. 87 hundredths. Okay, we're going to do that on the next side. Am I going to guide you through all of these? Yes, I am. Thank you for following along and paying attention. Can I use the zero trick?
No.
Why?
Because there has a decimal and it's not a full number.
It's not a whole number and there's a decimal. So I will rewrite 1300ths. And you're going to rewrite it for me because I'm teaching you a strategy, correct?
Right.
Okay, it's going to get harder in life. How many place values do I move?
2.
2. So I'm just going to write 1, 3. Do I have to write the decimal after it?
No.
Blair, did you write down 1300ths and hop your decimal? If you're not following along, when it comes time for the exit ticket, you're probably not going to get them right. How do I say this answer? 13. 13 divided by 1,000. Can I use the zero trick?
Yes.
No, I can't.
No, it doesn't have a 0.
I'm dividing, so both numbers need a 0. Okay? So rewrite 13 and give yourself some room. I'm going to, I think I'll write it. So you're going to write 13. Where is the decimal in 13, Fernando?
In the end?
At the end. How many place values am I going to move, class?
3.
Which way?
Right. Left.
Why am I moving left?
Because we're dividing.
Watch me hop the decimal before you do it. 1, 2, 3. What do I fill in with right here? 0. So my answer is decimal 013. Am I finished?
No.
Somebody
0.
besides Sadie, tell me what to put at the front.
0.
A 0. How do I say this number?
1300.
You're close.
13,000.
13,000. I'm glad you didn't say 0 decimal 0 13,000. I've been getting a lot of that. It's just 13,000. Okay, take a look at the next two. I noticed right away, it's not a whole number. I'm going to use a decimal trick. First thing I need to do, rewrite the number. So I'm going to write 3 and 1200ths. Write it down. Everybody write it down. And I'm going to
Skip 3.
skip 3 which way?
Frontward. No,
Right.
backwards.
To the right. 1, 2, 3, decimal. What do I fill in with right here?
0.
1, 2, 3, comma. How do I say that number, boys and girls?
3,120.
Very good. 3,120. All right, let's do the next one. All right, so I have, wow, look at this number I'm going to rewrite. 4,031 and 2/10. Write that down. I'm dividing by 100. So which way will I move my decimal?
Right.
To the left, because I'm dividing. And so I'm going to write 40 decimal 312. Who can tell me how to say that number now that I'm finished? Maite.
40 and 312.
You got it. 40 and 312 thousandths. On the next three, it says to find the products. Now, what do you notice about those three problems? Tell me some things that they have that are alike.
Multiplication.
They're all multiplication. Okay, anything else they have in common? Hayden?
No, same number.
They're all the same number. Do you see a decimal?
No.
So it's a whole number. How are they different, Channing?
It goes from, it like doubles every time.
You add a 0 every time, right? So you're multiplying by another 10 each time. So what do you think is going to happen to the products? The
It's gonna
answers.
get bigger.
They're going to keep getting bigger. How many? Times 10. add a 0 to the end of this one, how many zeros to the end of this one? See if you can figure out how to do this without hopping any decimals or anything. Okay, right now use the 0 trick. So write down the answers to all three, and then we'll... All right, boys and girls, let's talk about the answers here. The answer to A. Blair, tell me what you wrote on A. What did you write for an answer? Really? All you have to do is add a 0 to the end of each one.
Yep.
Lainey, tell me what you wrote.
193,400.
Very good. All right, I think Hayden wants to tell me the next one.
190.
Whoops.
Did you say Hayden or Kaden?
I said Hayden, but go ahead, Hayden. We'll let Hayden do the next one.
193,000. Wait, no, 193 million.
1 million.
1,934,000.
There you go. 1,934,000. Is that what you had written down, Hayden?
Yeah, I got the comments on that.
Okay, all right. And Hayden's going to tell us the next one.
Wait, that one was
C. Uh-huh.
Okay, well, I got my comments.
That's okay. That's okay.
Okay, so it's 19,200,000 and
340.
oh yeah,
340,000.
yeah, 340.
Okay. Now the next question says, explain how you decided on the number of zeros in the products for A, B, and C. Now Channy's going to read what the answer key says, and we're going to see if we understand it. Go ahead, Channy.
I visualized the place value chart. Times 10 shifted the digits one place to the left, so I added zeros to the right. 10 times 100 shifted the digits twice, so I added 2 zeros. 4 times 1,000, I added 3 digits.
Okay, so the digits shift to the left, one place value each time. How did we decide on the number of zeros? Did you visualize the place value chart? I didn't. Did you visualize the place value chart?
Yep.
What did you do?
Just, on the end,
I used the 0 trick. Is that what you used?
Yep.
What really happens though?
the number gets bigger.
The number gets larger, it shifts over to the left on the place value chart, one place value for every 0. Okay, let's take a look at the back. Okay, for number 3, it looks to me like it's the same thing we just did, except we're dividing. So make sure you're on number 3. Julian, tell me what all these have in common.
Dividing.
They're all dividing.
Yeah, the same number.
They all start with the same number. Is it a whole number? Yes. So if I were multiplying, I could use the 0 trick, couldn't I? I can't use it when I'm dividing, though, Kaden. Why can't I use it when I'm dividing?
Because you're taking less.
Right, you're making it less. It has to have a 0 if you want to use the 0 trick. Why am I writing this decimal trick down? Because I'm going to use it. I need you to stay with me. Don't stare off into space, please. So on 152, that's what I'm going to start with every single time. So 152. I'm going to write that down and even add the decimal at the end of it. Everyone write it down now. If I write it, you write it. Now, when I divide by 10, how many place values will my decimal move?
1.
1. To the, so I'm going to write 15 and 2/10. Okay, now, I don't want you to hop any more decimals. I just want you to use your head. Okay? If I add another 0 here, what's going to happen to my decimal?
It will it.
I'm going to move it again, right? So move it in your head. Now it's 1 and 52/100. And if I add another 0, what's going to happen to my decimal? Move it in your head. It's going to be in front of the 1. And what do I need to fill in with here? 0. And now it's 152 thousandths. So we use the same sort of pattern. Instead of adding a 0 to each number, adding another 0, we move the decimal another place back.